So I'm going to pivot on you really quick, and I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if you have a good answer to this or an opinion or kind of how you feel on this, but I got to ask because of all the video content that I do. And that question is, you're a big proponent of whole life, right?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, we're planners, okay?
Yeah.
With the best investment is always going to be yourself. Yeah, I'm a big whole life. Yeah, but go ahead with your question.
How talk to me. What is your opinion of index universal life in this marketplace?
I don't like it. I mean, there's a place for it. The ones I've seen, have I sold it? Yes, I've sold it. Be truthful with you, it's been good for some rated cases and things like that. Most of the cases I've seen, people do not. The thing is, when you get index universal life to work, you have to fund it at the whole life levels. And if you fund it at the whole life levels, you're still not getting the guarantees. So my point is that, so why don't you just buy the whole life?
Yeah. That's
because the whole idea of transfer of risk, Chris, and what I've seen, I'm a little bit older than you, is that when I first started in the business, we used to do a lot of focus on planning. We used to do disability income, the wills and trust. There was really a tremendous focus on that stuff. Disability income, human life value insurance, getting the proper wills and trusts, doing buy-sell agreements, all these things, the blocking and fundamental of financial planning.
Yeah.
And the beauties of whole life and the whole thing. And I, at the time, I get into investments. I get over, but I get into partnerships and all that crap. Oh my God! in the 80s.
Oh, awesome.
They're awful. They're awful. Okay,
yeah.
I got caught up in all that crap.
Yeah.
I was one of the biggest sellers of limited partnerships, and I'm not going to say the broker dealer, but it's no longer in business, but. Oh yeah, the 80s, and people were saying, "Can I get my money out now?" To be called up 10 years later, "Can I get out now?" No. So, so I've sold a lot of this stuff, and I realized the downsides of all this stuff.
Totally.
And so in the 80s, limited partnerships, and then in the 90s, it was high tech funds. 80%, 85 cents in every dollar was going into high tech funds around 1999, 2000. So now we get SPACs. I don't know, what do we have? The FANG stocks now. So, and I'm not against that stuff, but the whole thing is you got to have the fundamentals right. And we've gotten so far away from it, Chris. It's just
so on that. What does that mean, right? Like when you say we have to get the fundamentals right, what are the fundamentals that people have to get right? Is it the idea of saving first before investing?
Saving first before you invest. If you don't save, you can't invest. But the whole 99.9% of the stuff you're going to hear from all the media is put your money into this ETF, or you put this money into this mutual fund, or put this money into this partnership, or put your money, buy on the dip, all this crap, and or dollar cost averaging, which is a bunch of BS,
Yep.
So the whole thing is, so you want to save first. And if because one of the other things which I found, Chris, all the millionaires I had met, the really wealthy people, I've been blessed, they never made any of the money in mutual funds. I mean, they may have put their money once they made their millions into some funds, okay? But I never saw them make their money in the funds themselves. Yeah. So it's so you want to save before you invest, and rule of thumb, planning thumb, 15-20% of your gross annual income into savings, investments, insurance products, that type of thing. But during the financial crisis, we were negative 3%, and I don't know what we are now, but it's awful. I mean, I did a comparison with if you look at the Irish, the French, the British, even the Italians, the Polish, everyone else, they were saving 15, 16, 17% of their income. The Germans, in America, we were like negative 3% during the last financial crisis.
So do you know where we are right now?
It's awful. I think maybe 5 or 6%, Chris.
It's gotten better, but it's just
gotten better. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do know credit. A good thing I have heard too is that credit, they don't like, the banks don't like it. And the Wall Street Journal said something about banks getting bruised because they're people paying off their credit cards. I think that's awesome. But the problem is most people don't save today. And when you look at where you can put your money in a society, I've looked at all the places, okay?
Yeah.
When you look at it, a life insurance contract, it's a contract. Okay.
Totally.
It's a contract. All you legal people out there, a contract. If you don't know what contract is, Google it, please.
Mm-hmm.
It says we promise to pay.
Yep. And a lot of people. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
But that's so when you understand that and you fully fund it and you maximize it and you do it right, you show love and caring for people, and you do the right things for it. It's just not about the insurance. You make sure they have the right wills and trusts and all these other things and the disabilities and have all the other good things which you really need to be in place, because what we've learned, and if anyone, you'll see this in the next book, is what you learn when this next correction comes, and it will come, the retail investor will be holding the bag once again. And if you understand the Federal Reserve and the banking system, you realize they'll bail them out, but they won't bail you or I out.
Totally. Well, so let me ask you this. I'm looking to see if I can find something really quickly. What is your opinion? Do you have an opinion on how much money people should save before they actually start to invest? Because like one of the things that I do, I'd actually be curious to hear your opinion. One of the things I tell people is you should have 2 years of income safe before you start investing. And the reason I say that is that, and I know that sounds like crazy, extreme, conservative to most people, but my logic, if I back it, look at it, start with the end in mind and kind of back it up from there, is I say, well, and you don't know this about me, Barry, but I actually own a career coaching company too. And I wrote a book on executive job search. And so kind of a side note, one of the things that the Department of Labor says, for every month that you're out of, for every $10,000 of income that you're out of work right now, it's going to take you about a month to find a job. So if you earn $100,000 a year or more, it's going to take you 10 months to find a job. Right. So like when I talk about saving and having safe money, I'm talking about, I want you to be in a position where you're prepared to be protected and safe. So you don't have to make bad decisions with money that you invested, that you viewed it as savings, but you really invested, and then have to pay extra penalties and costs to be able to make up for bad decisions, right? Or for a bad situation that maybe isn't your fault. But then I also want to make sure that on top of that 10 months of income that you have for protection, that you have like an opportunity fund as well, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, to me, 2 years is kind of the benchmark of like the bare minimum, but I'd be curious to hear your feedback on that.
I'm more inclined to believe with your 2 years. I like that. They say 6 months, but 6 months more. And I've been through some career stuff. I'm no saint. Okay, we've all had some rough and tumble times.
Totally.
And I've been out. And when I was younger, man, I was out of a job sometimes 12, 18 months, and it was tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say traditional financial planning. They say what about 6 months, but I like your idea of 24 months, much better. Quite frankly, the bigger, you have a real cushion, because you're really going to have to be more self-reliant because these government stimulus checks and all this stuff is going to come to an end. And so the more self-reliant and the thing is you can act on opportunities, Chris, when you have you can buy things, when you want to, it's like, like I buy another Porsche or whatever, I'll look online, whatever, but I'll get it when I'm good and ready, and then I'll find it through my life policies or whatever, but I have all the liquidity, so I'm not under any pressure. So it's a lot more fun when you can do something, you can take your time, be leisurely about it.
Totally.
And you can make much better decisions,
Amen.
When you have the adequate capital. But no, everyone wants to now what they're doing, it's criminal. They're extending out car loans to 72 months. I mean, this is insane.
I know. It's crazy. Well, that old saying, opportunity favors the prepared, right? It's like opportunity. If you think about it, why is the growing gap between the wealthy and the middle class becoming bigger? It's because every time we have a financial crisis, the middle class is making poor decisions, and the wealthy people are capitalizing on it, and that becomes a transfer of wealth. And because middle class is having to make bad decisions and liquidating funds and investments and 401ks and IRAs just to pay your mortgage and bills and stay in your house and not go bankrupt. while you're looking for your job and all that stuff, what happens then? Foreclosure rates go up, unemployment rates go up, and then all the people with savings are just sitting there as asset prices are dropping, and it's just opportunity raining down from the sky. And so they buy up and gobble up all the assets. The economy recovers. People start getting their job again. They start investing, not saving. So they repeat the same old stupid mistakes, but all the while they build the economy back up because they start spending more. And so asset prices go back up, and the people who are wealthy, who bought the depressed assets, now appreciate, gain, all the benefits of the appreciation. They sell them off towards the peak and then repeat the cycle. And that's what's going on, and nobody wants to acknowledge it.
Matter of fact, there was an article, it was the early part of the year, Chris, done by Kiplinger's Finance, whatever, and
okay.
And this will be released in my new book. But and of course, no one wants to talk about this, but this is true.
I know.
Roughly, this is it's not me. Roughly, 33% of the population either liquidated a part or all of their retirement savings to meet their bills during the pandemic.
Mm. Well,
now,
and
do you
not
see
only
this in the mainstream media? I don't see it.
I don't see it in the mainstream media, but I will say that the CARES Act actually incentivized people to liquidate their 401k. They allowed people to take $100,000 from their 401k penalty free.
So it's just but as you know, the people don't realize all the taxes associated and the risk and all. And so people are, it's a